Good morning, or shall I say afternoon for most of you guys. It's morning somewhere. It's 10:36 East Coast or West Coast time, which means that it is or server time. It's actually 11. I jumped on I just woke up a little late. Figured we'd get Ray started. Have a little fun with it. Oh, Cursed Tower Awards available. No, there are Cursed Tower Awards available. There's also an Cursed Tower that needs to be handled, so we're going to do that real quick. Alright, so I've had some friends ask me some questions, and we're going to answer them as we're playing. So what got me started with this game? Man, I saw a IGN article and a Wowhead article and then a Maxroll article about this game and how it was going to be revolutionary and et cetera, et cetera. So I immediately tuned in because it was a Diablo game that was going to be mobile. And I actually bought a Razer phone, a Razer gaming phone, not like the Motorola Razer, but the actual gaming company. I bought the phone, the gaming phone part 2, in hopes of it being released, and it got pushed back, I think, a year and a half. So I had that phone for 18 months, and I only got to play that game, or I only got to play DI on it 2 months before it died, ultimately, which sucked. So it's a total waste of money. Wound up getting a Pro Max, and then like the second day they announced, the second day of early access, they announced that they were going to have a PC client, and so I downloaded the PC client, hooked up an Xbox controller, and fell in love. That's pretty much the gist of it. I started with a bunch of my personal real life friends, and my real life friends' real lives kind of took precedence over a video game, which is understandable. And so here I am by myself. But not without taking my best friends to 3 World Championships in the process. So that's kind of how it works. You guys laugh, but holding, you guys don't understand how hard it is to hold a reign for 7 weeks, let alone 14 weeks. And this is back when the Shadow War was completely different. Like, it was way different. It was more like the Battleground. And then it was set up like it is currently with the Trial of the Immortal, but it was the Battleground. You would go through the Battleground with the Immortals, etc., etc. So not much really changed. They've just buffed up the Immortal and taken away some things from the Immortal over the years. It's been a mess trying to balance it. All right, now that we've gotten rid of Red Dot City, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go over here and we're going to collect our Shadow Quest contracts from yesterday, because we never did. I failed to log in last night because I was fucking tired. But that's okay. We have, as you notice, we have 2 of 3, 2 of 4. So this is what we do. We send them one at a time. You know what I'm saying? Because you can split. A lot of people don't realize that, but you can actually split your pets between the 2 contracts. There you go. So in 9 hours, we'll come back and hopefully collect those. I still have not reached it, which is so odd, because I do everything I do on Oda with Ray, and you know what I'm saying, you guys can see like the difference in everything. Ray has always been around 5 to 10 levels less than Oda. I've never gotten Ray ahead of Oda that I can think of, except for in the beginning, because I was balancing them. At the time, Ray was a wizard and Oda was a crusader, and I was juggling which one I was going to play the most, and that was about the only time that ever got ahead of Oda. I take pride in my characters. I really do. As one should, you know what I'm saying? Like, you put a lot of hard work and effort and love and attention to, you know, a game, especially like an MMO like this is, and you'll understand. And it's Red Dot City again, which means something happened. And all right, so as we're setting up, we'll talk about some other things. Do I play any other games? Yes, I play a lot of games. I've got such a big game library that I get bored and I look at it and spend hours going, I don't know what the hell I'm going to play. I do. Like, it's bad. Like, you know, I've been collecting video games all of my life. All right, mostly, you know, I try to keep up with the physical copies, and then you know, you moves and stuff like that, delete that. But it never, you know, you never lose your Steam account, and that's what I'm hopeful for. You know, or what I'm thankful for is the fact that you know, through every computer system that I've had, every move, every travesty, my Steam account has remained loyal, and you know, over 20 some odd years, I've not missed very many Steam sales, you know what I'm saying? So I have a lot of games. I just play this one the most because it's social. My housemates play with me, um, and my housemate's just as good as I am. Actually, she's better. I play with my friends, so it's like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I really got into this to lead a clan with my friends, and it wound up, you know, turning into several, you know, world championships and stuff like that. So that's how I got started. I knew the game was about resonance in the beginning. I knew the secondaries weren't, you know, too going to be far along because you know they hadn't dropped enough, you know, gems. You have to collect gems weekly, so they weren't going to come into play for at least a full year, et cetera, et cetera. Um, and yeah, that's how I kind of sort of, you know, fell into this game. I did take a little bit of a break. I took a couple months off to move between places. So, but my characters never got too far behind. You know, it was funny. Like, I think the most I ever got behind was like 100 levels. You know, within the couple of months I took off from moving, and yeah, it was a wonderful experience. Okay, so lightning towers, and I took the long way around. So this is going to be a surprise for me because these guys are going to spawn on my head. All right, maybe if I can get these to lightning tower. There we go. Aha. Now we got our rank 4s. And then we'll have this one at a rank 2, and we'll set the other one at a rank, that push tower at a rank 3. So you have less of a chance of, you know, things failing. And then we'll go down here, and we'll wait it out for a little bit and start working on our bolt casters, because that's what's next. Like I said, you figure this part out. It's so easy. I don't know, again, I don't know why people overlook this. This is literally and legitimately a free legendary every single day, and people don't do it, you know. It's a free event. So I've got them all to rank 4. I'm gonna rank this one to 4 as soon as I get an opportunity, because I don't want to deal with the bolt casters. I'll be honest with you, I don't. Let's see if we can get this to 4 or rank 2 or 3 before the end. And then the only thing, if I can rank 4 this, that would be great. I just don't see it happening. Yeah, see. So not bad, you know. Everything's rank 3s and one rank 4. You know, the one I don't want to worry about, which is bolt casters. Bolt casters are cheap, so it's easy to do it that way. There you go, rank 4, and then go over here and make this tower rank 4. You see how close they're getting? That's where their treasure is where they're dropping. So They get really, really, really close to towers. Gust towers and lightning towers are the ones that I'm more fearful of, unless they they rotate to a weird area. So it's trying. I pay attention to stuff like that. So gust towers, and it really is about which lane you can trust the least at that moment is where you want to go next. Like I don't trust the gust tower lane as much as I trust the other two lanes. You just have to kind of strong arm it. And bolt casters will be last. And there's a rank 4 lightning tower, and then go down here and throw a bolt caster here. Boom. And we're pretty much taken care of from here, other than the cherry on top. And remember when I told you, if you can get everything to rank, if you can get 3 rank 3s or a rank 4 and a rank 3, you're fine. You see, and I'm 1,000 above. I'll probably as soon as the next lanes start, or the next round starts, it's pretty much taken care of. Man, I've had a wonderful weekend, man. I've just been kind of relaxing, trying to heal up. My knees aren't as good as they used to be. All right. And the winter is taking its toll on me. 5. All right, so we will knock these out. Like I said, I got 2 characters to knock out, so this won't take long. This is literally the longest part of my whole routine, is actually this. I spend more time doing this than I do the actual bounties. Bounties don't take this long, because that's all you got to really do, is you just have to work on your bounties. And as you can tell, I mean, this is an absolute just slaughter. They don't get very far past those bolt casters. Those bolt casters have pretty lengthy range too. Let's find out what this was. Oh, Hungering Moon. Yeah, I might have to do that today, because I think it ends tomorrow. No, it ends in 4 days, so. Which is cool. Hey, walked out with 3 Legos. Again, can't complain. Oh, goodness gracious. A little bit of lag there. I think that they've upped the graphics, or they've done something more recent to the graphics to cause that. Because I never lag, like, never have any lag with this game. And the more recent weeks I've had a lot of lag. So let's get started. All right. We have Ancient's Cradle as the first one. And again, we'll rinse repeat this on Oda. It's a same song and dance. And Oda today should be Server Paragon, actually. So I'm not really too worried about it on one of my characters, about playing catch up. As long as I get to Server Paragon on one of my characters, I personally don't care. I'll be Server Paragon by the end of the week for Rare. Damn, what is with this lag? It's all lag, is really what it is. It's just, and it's not like computer lag, you know what I'm saying? Like, my system's not lagging. It's just something's going on with them on their end, because like my inputs are still, you can tell when it's like graphical lag or system lag or something on their end. Like, my system's not glitching. Like, I'm not getting any droll on my inputs, everything's working fine on my end, just something going on with them. I even have my graphics turned down to medium too, which is, you know, this game requires like a 750 and I'm running like a 1050, so there's no reason why it should be, you know, running like crap, but it is. 2 more of these guys should do it, and yeah, that's the breakaway. Alright, so keep going. This is all easy stuff. Like I said, I get these done quicker than that event. That event takes longer than my quests do. Alright, keep going. I love these curse chests, I really do. They're like my favorite. Because you get 2 of them. And plus, when you're, you know, trying to upgrade, it's nice to have. It really is. Alright. You know, I think, honestly, and this is just me saying this, if they wanted to really push the crafting system, they should have some of the monsters drop a beguiling dust. Or not beguiling dust, the shards to upgrade. That's just, you know, if any Blizzard developer ever catches my streams, that's not a bad idea. For one, like, the only way we get those is through one event and through disenchanting or salvaging, as some people call it, gear. And you have to salvage green gear, basically, in order for you to get those green shards. And I think, like, having monsters drop them out in open world farming is suitable, you know, for most people. That's just me, though. You know, I'll shrug on that one. I don't care. But we will definitely keep you guys informed. It's just a matter of, like I said, putting time into this. This is what I think. Actually, technically, it's day 6, but it's actually stream 5 for this game. We'll try to give you guys, you know, I think that's it was. It was a, so this is the question that I get to: how do I collect secondary gems? It is not my favorite thing to do. I do not like secondary gem farming, and they hid it behind a couple of events, which is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can go get, you know, at least you have 2 events that you know are stable enough to run. Airbands and of course Verge are your 2, and it's arguably, like, we argue all the time on which one's the best. They're about the same. I feel Airband is quicker, personally speaking, because it's like you can get 8 gems in 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Where with Verge, you're in Verge for 5 to 7 minutes. So speed-wise, it would definitely go to Airband. But Verge does drop monstrous orbs. Airband does too, but not as many as Verge does. So if you're looking for, you know, a kind of an all-in-one event that will, you know, kind of break even with everything, then Verge is it. But I run Airbands for specifically to farm out secondary gems. And the reason, you know, Airbands is because of just the fact that, you know, with both characters, I can run Airbands in around 3 minutes. And so it's just speed running at that point. I don't do it every week, and, you know, bad me, you know, bad, you know, bad Oda. Not allowed to, you know, you're supposed to be consistent with it, but it's not, you know, like, I'll say this and I'll say it again. I'm in for the long term. I'm not in a hurry to get everything rushed like a lot of players are. That's why, like, you know, none of my shit's right. Well, none of my shit on this tune's rank 30, but Oda's slowly getting to rank 30 is because of the fact that, you know, I just don't you know, like some people, I don't put a lot of time into, you know, the game itself. Uh, you know, to, like, I don't want to burn myself out, I'll be honest. And, you know, for those who don't understand, like, the burnout process for MMOs and ARPGs is real. Like, you can burn out quick. And I don't recommend, like, you know, if you can't do um, the bare minimum, I don't, you know, recommend that you do the bare maximum. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get yourself in trouble with your clan if you don't, you know, remain active is the best way to put it. And it's a fact. You know, like, you're letting other people down because the clan portion of this, like the leaderboard, is very important. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the PvE side of the leaderboard is what actually helps out the PvP side. So, like, the top 10 are now the top 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, the top 10 start out, you know, before Shadow War, as you know, it's as the top 10, but then it changes. You know, um, there's a lot to explain, but you know, so the PvE top 10 before there's any Shadow Wars is what affects the placement and your recruitment too. So if you're in the top 10 on the leaderboard and you know, you only have 95 people in your clan, when new recruits go looking for a clan, they look at, you know, your clan shows up because you're in the top 10, you show up at the top of the list, basically. So it helps out with recruitment. And so that's why you want to try to remain in the top 10, first off. Secondly, it's rewarding because you get, you know, every event that is, you know, clan or PvE based, you know, you got an instant give. So, like, you know, there's a couple events where it's rewarding, you know, to everybody in the clan if everybody participates. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody gets extra loot. So, you know, that's another reason why you want to try to not piss off your clan, because a lot of clans will not put up with absenteeism. You know, so, unless there's like a really good reason, like health reasons, which, you know, we have some players that have some health reasons. You know, they can't always make events. You know, some people are, you know, had car accidents and stuff like that. So, you know, we take that into consideration. And you never want to hold that against a player. You know, it's not their fault. You know, life happens. You know, we're not trying to be that elitist. Now, there are clans that will, you know what I'm saying? But we're a little bit more kind about it. But we do know clans, like, it doesn't matter if you know, like, your life could be falling apart and they don't give a shit as long as, you know, they remain in the top 10. That's all that matters to them, you know. And so, you know, we have the thing with a lot of clans, and I try to explain this to people, is communication. Even if you don't like talking to people, okay? And I know that there's a ton of people that are like that in the world. I'm kind of like that. I really don't like interacting with a lot of people. But if it's imperative, you know, to let your clan leadership know that you're kind of sort of going to be not around for a while, because, you know, you know, like, as being somebody who's been in leadership, in a leadership position and is in a leadership position, it's responsible. Okay, we don't need to know what's going on in your personal life, but we do need to know that you are okay. You know what I'm saying? And if we don't know that why you're offline for weeks, we have to assume that you've kind of sort of quit the game. That's how, you know, we have to look at it. If you don't tell us, that's the assumption. So, you know, and that's what, you know, and I'm going to defend all clan members or all clan on that one. Like, if you don't communicate like an adult, you know, and some people are like, well, it's just a game. Well, it is, yeah, it is a game, but it's a game that requires scheduling around events, okay? And if we can't, get you to show up to the events, and we can't get you to tell us why you're not showing up to the events, it's it's hard. It's hard on everybody, and so that's why, as a member of a clan, you kind of sort of need to show up to things, or at least tell somebody why you can't show up, because it's imperative. You've got so many other people that are depending on you to be there, and especially like events, like, and it happens so often, like especially with like tower wars. We'll have people sign up for tower wars, and then they won't show up, and the reason why that happens, and I'll explain it from leadership position, is that you get free loot regardless of whether you participate or not in Tower War. You just have to sign up for it, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm all for that. I'm all for like keeping the clan together and stuff like that. What I'm not for is the fact that having to wait and talk to people and see who's online, who's actually really participating, having to go through that. So that's a pain in the ass, because we don't have a set group for towers. We really don't. We'll take anybody in. We prearrange our towers on our server, which is cool. Some of our tower battles are like, no more than 4K. We're not actually taking the tower. But we don't want the tower. We just want to fight, kind of more deal. And so that's what a lot of our fights involve in. But it's still people sign up for them, and people aren't on at the times that they deal with that. So you have to deal with that. The same thing with Shadow Wars. Like, you don't know who's going to be on Thursdays and Saturdays, so you kind of sort of have to keep your fingers crossed. So communication is key, and we have people that tell us, adults, responsible people that tell us, hey, look, we're not going to be here Thursday because I got work, or birthday, or kids are in town, or whatever. That's the responsible part. So that's what kind of keeps you out of trouble with your clan lead, is if you maintain communication, kids. Not talking will get you in trouble. But that's a big thing, because it's a social game, dude. Like, you don't need to tell everybody your life story, but we do need to know that you're okay. And that's the way that I tell everybody. I'm like, look, dude, they're not upset at you, for this or that. They're upset because of this. You just got to kind of take the good with the bad. If you're not telling them that you have personal problems, they can't cover for you. Damn, that's like another set. I'm killing it today, and my inventory's full. I am killing it today. I guarantee you I did not get... Oh, I did. I'll shut up then, because it didn't feel like I got it. I didn't get a warning that I got it. Alright, so next part's very easy. I know I'm not going to make the battle pass for my second character. I did with my primary. I'll take, mad props for that. But I'm definitely not making battle pass for my second character. I did on my primary. That's all that matters. Plus, I already mission completed what I was aiming for. I don't get mad when I don't make, I get mad when I don't do it on both characters, but if I get it on Oda or Ray, I'm cool with it. It's no big deal. I don't get mad at things like that. There's no point. Alright, draw. Alright. That takes care of that. I think I might be able to buy a pet. Yeah, let's do that. Let's buy a pet. And then I might have enough to upgrade a pet, and then we'll move over to Oda. Because like I said, I try to get everything done, like I need to get done. Pet contracts are also included with that, which I finally get one. Yay! No yours. With no events going on, dude, like, there's no extra battle points. Like, that, it's poop. I don't know why they did this. I think they did this again to stall us. It's a stall tactic from Blizzard. Alright, so, everything's done on Ray. Actually, no, not everything is done on Ray. Hold on. We have to check. Make sure I didn't make any money. I made money. Hey, nice. Getting close. I gotta buy one last. I gotta unlock that last slot on Ray Ray. I need 10K to do it. I need 10K plat to do it. All right. Now we go on Oda and do the exact same thing. I was on Oda last night because I had to do Shadow War. You guys are an hour early. Oh. The time change hasn't hit the server yet. They got to reset the server to do it. And they're doing that sometime this week. Alright, so again, a bunch of market alerts. More than likely something either sold or expired. Rank. I'm a little behind on Oda with the rank. Cursed Towers, battle map. All that. Nice. Beautiful XP, you know what I'm saying? Now I'll have enough. I have enough XP to still not. Yes, I didn't. I thought I logged into Oda last night. Apparently I didn't. We're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna go with a 9-hour trip. Knock both of those contracts out for the day in 9 hours, and we'll do everything else later. Because I'll end up logging back on. I'm probably gonna log in for assembly on the 7 o'clock hour rather than the normal hour. That way I can hang out with my homies at night. I haven't been hanging out at night much. Bless me. Bless me again. Damn. Sinuses are open. Oh, goodness. Well, sinuses work. Alright, now I'm on scene 4. Yay! I'll be Whisper by the end of the week. I'm cool with that. I won't be Whisper 4 by the end of the week, but I will be Whisper. I'll be Whisper 4 by the end of next week. Which is A-okay with me. I'm alright with it. Alright. No more red dots. No more red dots. No more locked doors. No, I'll pick up my quests and my free Elder Rift. I haven't ran raids in a couple weeks. I've been kind of, putting off some things so the burnout doesn't affect me. Because burnout is real, man. Like I said, it really does affect a lot of players. I just make sure that I don't go through it so that I can continue to trudge through. I care about my clan because some of my clan are friends. And so you want to do everything for your clan, which you can do. If you can do it for your clan, you know what I'm saying? Alright, so getting started. These are all super, super easy. This is going to go by so fast. But before we get started, guess what we forgot to do? That's okay. Clear an area for myself because I haven't started out here yet, and it wouldn't matter. I could stop and start. But we forgot to do Gullet Madness, i.e. Shardstorm, i.e. Sentinel Stand. It has 3 different names. I've heard different people call it different things. I call it Shardstorm because that's what it is. It's a Shardstorm, but it is Sentinel Stand. The event's called Sentinel Stand. Enter Sentinel Stand. Enter the Shardstorm. So it's just literally you just waltz through and smash everything and go back and pick up that Lego. Again, another reason why, and I'll guarantee you that Lego will not be as good as a raid Lego. I've got a raid at some point. this week, preferably with my warband. And again, the lengthy thing, the one that takes the longest. Besides running dungeons can take some time too. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't judge people for running dungeons. I like running dungeons sometimes, just not all the time. So it's going to be the same thing. Boltcaster, walk forward. It's actually simpler, or it's closer if you walk this way than if you walk completely around. This is just the part that annoys me the most, is just getting the setup done. And 10. Just sit and wait. Get rid of our red dots when we're in the wait. Just hovering around. Alright, click the close. The next way will be a new type of monsters. Boltcasters again. So, easy one. Once you kill enough of these, you'll get that 17, and you won't have to worry about them coming up. And since it's at the beginning, you might, if you kill enough of them, you'll actually might be able to get away with doing this, which is what I'm doing. I'm putting my hopes and prayers into a 3. Right, there we go. Look at that. That's nice. I have a funny feeling it'll be over here next. It usually is. Usually if it starts at the top too, the bottom will go last. It's very rare. So we're doing our little prediction. You know, haven't been wrong this far. My prediction is that it's going to be right here. Yeah, correct. And it'll be lightning towers. Or gust towers. Gust towers. Good. It's, Alright, so while we're at it, since we're only able to get that to 3, we're just going to invest in that one and then come back and drop this to 5. I hit him with that 5 early. You know what I'm saying? Bam. Right in the face. And the next will literally just be lightning towers. Just need one rank 4 and then it goes from there. Just literally build them up. Super, super easy stuff. Like I said, once you realize where everything is in this game, it just becomes so much easier. So we got our rank 4 there, lightning tower, and our rank 2 already, and that's all we really need to get this started. But I'm gonna push it. It's the last lane, you know. Everything's looking good. Everything's at rank 2 or 3. There's no reason for me to try it. You know, if I can get this to rank 4, that'd be awesome. So, and I did. Hey, now we can just go down to this last gust tower and attempt to rank it out, which will more than likely not happen, but we'll try. It's just this last dude too. See, that's what you just do. You just go back in, rank it out, go back in, rank it out. It's not a big deal. Oh, waiting for my vape. Boom. To settle. Did I for this one? I don't know. I'm not sure. Nope, it's not rank 4. It is now. Alright, cool. Now we'll rank 4 this one, and then we'll start a new cluster. Boom, look at that. Now it seems like boltcasters might be my bane, which is okay. You can be my bane. because I'll just put another one up. Lightning towers will be the next one. I'm not seeing any problems with any of the lanes. There's 4. And this one will be the Gus Tower at the end. If I really wanted to save time, I could leave and then come back and pick up all my stuff. But I tend to write it out. And we are doing good. We're actually ahead of the curve. Because, again, last of the 3s, you know, last of what you row, and I'm 550 ahead, so I'm doing good. It's when you don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't pay attention to that. You should be really, really scared. You could do it all with just 2 in each lane, honestly. You might have 1 or 2 break loose every now and again, but again, it's what happens afterwards, and you know, you have to make it last an hour after the fact, you know, and that's the hard part for some people. All right, we're getting into the last round, and I am pretty much done with this. Like I said, this part takes longer than doing the damned bounties does. And it's not that it's a bad thing, because, you know, you're giving me Legos. You know, I didn't identify the ones on Ray Ray yet, but I need to. And then we'll just go and sit in our normal spot where we're useful. And wait for the day to finish. I need to pull the top off. I buy these good cartridges, man. These torch cartridges, they work really well. Plus, I like some of their mixes. The only part I don't like is when these companies, to make up for the flavor, they over-terp the vape. So it ends up giving you a cough. And that's the terps are what usually tickle my throat. That's why I try to find low terp. A lot of people don't realize that. Like, that's what really messes you up. Is the terpenes. They get caught in your throat, you know what I'm saying? And they just, you know, fizzle. I'm getting there. Alright, now let's get started back again to what we were doing. So we can kick the shit out of these guys and be done with it. Be done with the day. I can get off recording. It's not like I don't mind doing this. It's just that I try to not be on this game as much as possible. Just being a responsible adult. I think's the best way to describe it. You know you have an addiction when you're limiting yourself. But it's what I do, you know. You got to. You gotta limit yourself. Put some. I'll put some grit behind it. Because I'll literally sit there and play until my heart's content, and then I get burnt out on it. Like I said, the burnout is real, and so in order to do that, I play a game within myself, you know, try to see if I can do as many or how fast I can do it. You know what I'm saying? To try to keep myself off of it, because you're still getting the same amount. You know what I'm saying? Of XP that you would. It's just you're doing it in such a compressed amount of time, and I don't mind. Like I said, it's keeps me going on this game. It's not boring, and I'll tell you that. Like it's just it's a grind. It's the same grind that every MMO game suffers. There's a lot to do, but you've done it so many times that you've kind of like you build a routine around it. It's bad. Would you get burnt out as a beginner? Not really. It really depends on what you or how you go about your routine and how often you spend online. Like, if you spend your time socializing online, it's okay. Do that because that helps. But if you're, and it does help, especially when you're doing tedious things like circle farming or dungeon spamming. It makes socializing makes it a lot easier. It goes by a lot faster. So there's that. So like if I'm in Discord and I'm running with my clan mates, man, like I tend to overlook the amount of dungeons that we ran, and a lot of times like we can get up there into like the 30s and 40s before I realize like we ran like 30 or 40 dungeons. There's nothing wrong with that, like you just you find something, you fixate on it. For us it's like wholesome conversation. If the conversation is good, it'll keep a lot of us tuned in to what's going on, and to the conversation rather than to the tedious task of dungeon spamming. Because dungeon spamming, it is tedious. Anybody who has done any type of dungeon spamming will tell you like it can get tedious. I personally have ran these dungeons so many times that they annoy me. That's just me. And you can tell like it's like you'll rarely see me run a dungeon because I will unless there's an event that requires me to, or I have to replace all of my greens, and I have a specific time, like I'll run them at 7, every 100 levels, then every 20th and then 50th, I'll dungeon spam. Like I said, I got it down to a science because it annoys me. It's annoying to dungeon spam. Like, I hate to say it, but if it's the only, if it's the only thing to do in a game that, guarantees you X gear, you're gonna burn people out on it. And that's what happened. Like, I literally, like, ran so many dungeons that I'm at the point to where I'm like, I got dungeon spam, or, my 3 days has passed. I need to get these free greens out, so I'll spam 9 dungeons every 3 days. Still the same, I'm still getting them in. I'm just not, not addicted to, running the dungeons. I do the quests, I do the world events, I do, I'm selective with my time because I play other games. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing. Like, I want to play other games. I don't want to dedicate my life to one video game. I've been that lowly, nerd that's been on World of Warcraft for hours on end. And when that happens, you don't have much of a choice. You're just gonna play. That's exactly what I did. I soloed most of WoW except for raids. You know what I'm saying? Raids and dungeons, but for the most part, like, I didn't run with nobody. And when I did, it was just like, annoying. You guys are holding me up. I got things to do. Straight up. I hated being that way with my friends, but it was the facts. It's like, hey man, you think you can help me with something? Sure, man. And you figure it's going to end up taking like 15 minutes, but you end up carrying them through like 30 fucking dungeons in WoW, It's like, oh, dude, you're like way behind on this. Let me get you caught up. And so to prevent that from happening, because, I was always like top tier, gear, I just like, fuck, I'm not going to help anybody no more, because that's what was going on. Like I would literally run. My friends would take, you know, and I noticed this. This pissed me off. I said something to a friend about it too. I was like, dude, why is it that you start, you know, your character every time at the end of the season? Is it so that you want, you know, because I feel like it's what you do. Like, you don't want to run the new content yourself. You want everybody to run you through the new content. And he was like, well, man, you know, I just don't have a lot of time, you know, and, you know, I'm not like you where I dedicate myself to this game. I got family, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, man, I get it. I'm just complaining to complain. You know, I'm just, you know, pissing and moaning to piss and moan. Because that's exactly what I was doing, dude. I was like, God, man, this is so stupid. Like, every quarter, you know, you won't raid until, like, the raid is almost up. And then you're expecting everybody to run you through the final raids, you know what I'm saying, to try to get you all of your gear, you know, and you know, like, while everybody else progressed. And it got sickening, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really got to the point to where it's like, this is happening too much, you know, like, and you get that way when you're in game. You get kind of selfish, you know. I'll say it, I was kind of selfish with my time, you know. I didn't want to dedicate any more time to other than what I was already doing, you know, so I just kind of quit. And then when this came out, oh man, I was so stoked. I got to play with my friends, you know what I'm saying? All of my friends jumped on it because it was mobile, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody had a good enough phone to play this game, or has pretty much a good enough phone almost to play this game. So I was stoked, you know. I was like, holy shit, you know, I get to play with my friends finally. You know, they don't have to purchase into anything they don't want to. And they did, you know, and I played with them for a year, you know. So it's fun when you can get with your friends and, you know, kind of pivot and make things happen. Was the best part. Then my friends quit playing. A lot of life things. You know, wasn't the game itself. It was just a lot of life things. Like, one of my friends, their condominium got blown apart by a hurricane. So that's one of the reasons why one of them quit. Another one got married, and then like within 3 months, found out that he was going to be a daddy. So I was like, holy shit, dude, that's so awesome. Yeah. So, understandable. And my best friend, he got himself into a relationship and then got himself out of a relationship real quick. So, you know, life changes, dude. You make new friends, you know, and that's what I've done. Make new friends. All right. See, real easy. Coming to the end of our story, man. And I'll stay on for just a little longer, you know, to talk, but you know, that's what kind of happens in most of these MMOs. Is you get into this this crap of, like, carrying people and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. I get carried. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have, you know, like, 2 characters, and I get carried because there's just some things that are difficult in this game. But there are some people out there that exist just to get carried, you know, and it's not a very fun habit, you know. Like, and I don't like to reciprocate to those types of people. Let's take a look as we're capping this off. Nice. I think I have enough to buy another. Yeah, I need to go turn that in. Sometimes I'll forget to turn in that. That's a big... Damn, dude, what is up with the drops today? Like, everything has a drop. Not complaining. I like it. But, yeah, man, it's a whole other ball game. Like I said, I just... I'd much rather not complain about it. I love the fact that both my characters get their upgrades around the same time or within a day of each other. So, like, if Oda gets one, I know Ray Ray's fixing to get one too. Damn. Says I have 3 really nice pieces. 4 really nice pieces. But this is how you can tell it's lying. It didn't bring up the dialog box for you to immediately replace it. See what I'm saying? So they're not really, like, that one is an upgrade, kinda. So we'll go ahead and equip that. Even though, you know, we're getting rid of a triple, it's fine. It's the same thing with this one. Like, this one's 2320. That's not an upgrade, okay? This one is not an upgrade, you know. So you got to be very careful. The other one was. It was a considerable upgrade because it had 3 stats on it. It was a double triple. So it's very rare you see those. So I'm getting rid of a triple for a double triple, but the double triple had a bit more combat rating on it. So that's kind of, you know, the way that I look at it. Well, oh damn, that's fire. And everything else expired. So we'll just update that. We'll drop this in price just a smidge so we can get rid of it. And then we'll sell. Like, it seems like if they're under 900, people will buy them. If they're over 900, people will not take even a moment's notice to take a look at them. But again, this is normal. You know, you just take your... Oh, so I can buy a critter. Nice. Just take your time, do your contracts, you know. Turn in your shit. Go from there. So I got Moonlight stuff in reserve, which is okay. Did I turn those in? Yes, I did. Alright, so the next part is getting the contract. Shop. Boom. And I forgot to upgrade my familiar on Ray, which is, again, I'll pick that up later. I'm not, you know, it's not a, oh god, it's, you know, going to affect me tomorrow kind of thing. Because it really isn't. Alright, power. Alright, do I have enough of these little guys? I do. Alright, so we have enough of these little guys to try to upgrade them. Pets are the strangest thing in this game. The way I was told was to put them in a specific order, in which the most powerful one is on the far right-hand side. And when you hit convert, you have less of a chance of it losing power because it only needs 2 more little dots and it's maxed out. Or I honestly needed to turn gold on me so I can kind of sort of use it. So we'll see what this gets me. So a little bit of a stat increase, and then I got that one on top of it, but it's an active Bestial Might. So I didn't really lose anything with that dude, you know what I'm saying? But I did gain a legendary ability with him. It's just deactivated, and because he's a blue, unless I put him in this slot, it's useless. And you know, that's a fact. The only reason why I have the cat is for the simple fact that he's got defense. You know, this cat is nowhere near as it's good. Actually, no, the idle cat is pretty damn good. But I think there's this cat has a salvager on it too. That's another reason why I don't know I lose salvager. Because I'm on the field a lot, you know. So that takes care of that. Alright, so I need to do yakking. Knock out my yakking stuff, see if I can get either an upgrade or a piece of gear, an essence I don't have. He's been kind of failing me lately, man. Like, I'll be honest with you, like, I haven't gotten much worthwhile out of yakking over the last few months. I've gotten essences out of him, but I have not gotten upgrades out of him, so he's been kind of a letdown. Which is normal for yakking. Yakking's always a letdown. But I've almost got this build done anyways, the new build. I don't like it, to be honest with you. I think it's weird. Not too happy with it. Alright, so how many of these do I got? Just 2. Alright. Alright, so now that I know all that stuff, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. Thank you guys for tuning in. You all have a wonderful one. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I'm out.